All righty. We'll now call the joint CRA board meeting to order for March the 12th at 5:30 p.m. Please rise for the invocation and pledge of allegiance. Stay with me. Father, we thank you for this day, Lord. Lord, we ask for your wisdom tonight, Father. Lord, we ask that your will would be done here, Lord. Lord, we ask that you would just, Lord, show each and every one of us, Lord, exactly what you have us do, Father. Lord, we ask that you would just help us make this town as good as it possibly can be, Father. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. Madam Clerk, if you'll please call the roll.
Councilmember McGuire.
Here.
Councilmember McKeer.
Here.
Councilmember Taylor. Deputy Mayor Bernard. Mayor Anderson.
Here.
Member Landfear. Member Jarrett. Member 70. Jarrett's here. Member 70. Member Shepherd. Member Downing. Member Snell. And Chair Hayes.
All right. First up, we have the consent agenda. This will be items 1 through 4. Does anyone wish to remove any of these items?
Just need to make a small change on the minutes.
What you got?
On the, I believe it's page 5. Hold on, no. Page 2, it says we had the motion passed 4-0, but Taylor said no, but Taylor actually said yes. So it was four yeses and 0 no's on the motion to accept the response to the RFP and approve the construction agreement for the pickleball courts.
Okay. Anything else?
That's all I had.
Seeing none, entertain a motion to approve with said changes.
So move.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
A second.
We have a motion and a second. Last call for questions. Seeing none, please call the roll.
Councilmember McGuire.
Yes.
Councilmember McKeer.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Bernard.
Yes.
Mayor Anderson.
Yes. Under action agenda, item number 1, we have the CRA attorney, Clifford Shepard. Is he on Zoom with us here?
Yes, sir. Here I am.
All right. Is there anything to preface before Mr. Shepard starts? Seeing none. Mr. Shepard, what do you got for us?
Well, actually, all it said on my agenda was question and answers. If you'll give me some idea what you might like to hear about, though, I can pretty much opine on anything you'd like.
We're having some trouble hearing you. If you can maybe get a little closer to your microphone or speak up, perhaps.
All right. Is that any better?
A little bit.
Let me see. I do have some AirPods somewhere. Well, I thought I did. I don't. Trying to figure out how I can turn the volume up for you. Let's see.
I don't know if there's anything we can do on our end.
Let's see.
Okay.
Is that better?
That's as good as it's going to be, I guess.
Because I just changed microphones to a different microphone, and if that's not any better, I don't know what else to tell you. I've been using this one all day, and nobody said anything about it.
Just yell at us, and I think we'll be fine.
Okay, so what I said was, my agenda just simply said question and answer for you guys and the advisory board. So I'm prepared for that. But if there are any specific topics you would like me to introduce or opine on, I'd be happy to do that as well.
Okay. Well, did we have any questions? Did we have any running information we were trying to get from him, or?
Mr. Shepard, I initially sent over the grant handbook for your visual review and response.
All right. Well, let me look at my little folder here.
Miss Jeanette, what did you ask him? The what? The handbook?
The handbook, just to
okay.
Take a.
Okay, I see something called the CRA grant application. Is that what you're speaking of?
Yes, the application. Yes, sir.
Okay. And it said, I've attached the facade document prepared by the director with request you to review to ensure compliance with the CRA guidelines. I'm happy to do that. I didn't know that was the subject of this particular issue, but in general, a facade grant is certainly legal to do, but there are very specific limitations on what you can spend TIF money for. And one of those come about from changes to the law that happened in 2019. Because prior to 2019, the specific limitations on spending of TIF, or tax increment finances, what it's also called, had included some words, including but not limited to. But after 2019, the law was changed, so now it says you can only spend money on these specific things. And so facade grants, if they are specifically for facades, is one of the things you can spend money on. But beyond that, there's also a way to spend money on things like mandatory or voluntary code repairs for code enforcement situations. So that's another example. And those all sort of relate to the idea of making the exterior, if you will, of a CRA area look better than it currently does. But I will be happy to look at this document in detail. I said I didn't know that was what was the subject of this meeting. Again, my agenda just said question and answer.
Okay. Do we have any other questions for him?
Yeah, I have a question if possible. I have, there were several I seen other cities that got into the commercial renovations where they did go into HVAC. Now, I do know that it wouldn't qualify under our facade grant line item that we have, but if in the future we were to implement that, so if a business had plumbing needs or had HVAC needs, something along those lines to help them, and it's part of revitalization. If you're trying to get an area where buildings need to get up to code and to have items like air conditioning, which I don't feel is an amenity, more of a necessity. I do see that cities have it on the books. As long as we were to get that, I guess, within our master plan and fund that line item, would that be something we'd be able to offer our businesses here in Avon Park?
Well, I know this is not going to be the most popular answer, but only in very limited circumstances. Again, I don't know how much of the folks here know about my background. I'm the general counsel for Florida Redevelopment Association, which means I represent CRAs all over the state of Florida, including one of your more nearby neighbors, Tampa, which has a total of 9 CRAs. And so I kind of am all over the place. But one of the things I have my finger on the pulse of, if you will, is how tightly the statute is being interpreted by the folks who make the law in Tallahassee. As some of you will know, back in October, or back in this time last year, we were looking down the barrel of a gun that was trying to put an end to all CRAs, essentially as of October of 2025. Fortunately, that did not get through the legislature, and instead, in its place this year, they're trying to do property tax reform, which could have the same effect, since all TIF comes from property taxes. But the bottom line is, if you look through the statute, we used to say that there were 3 things you had to look for in terms of legality. Is the expense in the budget? Is it in the plan, which is what you're referring to? And is the money to be spent in the district, i.e. the CRA district? But what we should have added all that time, and only more recently have started doing, more recently as in since 2019, is it legal? Does it come within the only category of the things you can only spend TIF on? Those are found, for those who are taking notes, under 163.387, 6C 1 through 9, and none of those are going to give you any indication that those would include HVAC. They include things like purchasing property within the CRA for redevelopment purposes, paying your administrative staff, building affordable housing or providing money for affordable housing, community policing innovations, and such as that. The 9th one on the list incorporates things that are found under 163.370, and that's subsection 2, letter A through letter O. And that gets a little broader list. And it includes things like if you have a hotel that supports a convention center, and there are like passageways that go from the hotel or sidewalks that go from the hotel to the convention center, you can use TIF to pay for that. If there are public areas of the hotel like dining rooms and meeting rooms that are being used as an adjunct to the convention center, you can help pay for those. You can't pay for the hotel rooms themselves, but for the banquet facilities and other things that would help, again, service a convention center. That's a specific exception. There's a specific rule about allowing the funding of infrastructure. So streets and roads and sewers and so forth within a redevelopment area, parks and other things. Those things can be funded through CRA money if it's in your plan and all the other things that I mentioned in your budget in the district and so forth. But you have to look very carefully at what it is. And sadly, HVAC doesn't fit in that category. Now, I heard you, as you said in your mind, that fits under revitalization and so forth. And it could, and that's why I say there are limited circumstances when it could. And I'll give you an example. If there was a building that was severely damaged in a hurricane, let's say, because we seem to get a lot of those in Florida, and the system was wiped out, maybe by a lightning strike or something along those lines. And in order to rehabilitate that building, there was not any existing air conditioning. It had to be completely replaced. The wiring maybe had been fried. That had to be done and so forth. There is a basis for calling this rehabilitation and including the HVAC. But as an example, let's suppose that I have an older building that has AC, just doesn't have updated AC. And maybe, again, for the AC people that are there, the AC units are rated based on SEER ratings, SEER. It's something, an energy efficiency rating. I don't know what the S stands for, but I know what the EER stands for. And they simply said, we really need a more efficient air conditioner in order to run our business here because it's going to cost us too money. That is not a CRA expense. Essentially, upgrades are not CRA expensive. That's not rehabilitation. That's not revitalization, and that's not repair. And so when Tampa considered the exact same question and had me go through the scenarios, essentially their staff said, okay, what about this scenario? What about that scenario? And when we got down to the fact that essentially it had to be replacing something that had been damaged beyond repair, did not function anymore, as opposed to an upgrade, and that was all that they had to work with, they decided rather than trying to make those judgment calls, it would be easier to leave it out of their program. Now, they do commercial grants of all kinds of sizes that are significant in size, but on the things that are reimbursable, which all of their grants are reimbursable, the HVAC is not one of those.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so I seen it was Lake Worth, Oldsmar. There were some places that did it, but just because others were doing it, I didn't want to, definitely, take that as the roadmap for us. They could be doing it wrong. I just want to make sure we're doing it right. But if it was, I'm sure there's some buildings here where there was a grant application that came forward to us, and we actually had it on our website that it was offered, and that's where we end up had to go away from it. But I do think it would be beneficial to the businesses if we could have used it. But
yeah, and let me
is.
be the first to agree with you.
Thank you.
My frustration with is they have very little understanding of what works in redevelopment. And this is a problem because there are a lot of things that would make very good sense in terms of how you turn an area around that the statute specifically prohibits. One of those things that gets us in trouble all the time is a CRA spending money on marketing to promote itself. And you'd think that would be logical. And prior to 2019, it was logical. And even the Attorney General had said so in an opinion it issued back in 2010. Because if you want to revitalize an area, one of the best ways to do it is to put in money in facade grants and other things, and then encourage people to come patronize that area, particularly if it's business oriented. And if you are trying to promote affordable housing and you have a new affordable housing project, a good way to revitalize is to be able to promote that project. But one of the very specific and forbidden areas now is marketing. You can provide information about the projects you do. And in fact, you're supposed to put that stuff on your website, which you're also required to talks or festivals or that.
Well, we're having some connection problems there.
How much were you able to hear? I don't even know. I'm unsure.
I think we got the gist of it.
Okay.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Do we have anything else to ask the attorney? Yes, sir.
Mr. Shepherd, you raised over a subject that had a little bit of interest for our advisory board in past years. The purchasing of property, or the CRA of purchasing a property to repurpose it for other needs that the city would have. Is there limitations all the way up to removal
Well,
of a piece of property or a structure on that property?
yeah, no. There are limitations, but not the way you worded the question. So let me explain. You can purchase any property for redevelopment purposes. That means for a purpose that is also otherwise legal under the statute. You cannot use eminent domain. You could previously, but that has been taken away from us. So you cannot condemn a property. You can't say we're going to redevelop this property and take it away from a private property owner by condemnation, so we can then turn it over to a developer to do something we'd like. A nice set of shops, a new restaurant, whatever the case may be. That we can't do. But if we have a willing seller that will sell us property at a price we're willing to pay, we can then take it and repurpose it. Now, the most important part of your question is to do what exactly? And now you're back to a lawful expense that is in your plan and in the district. So it's not just buying property anywhere in Avon Park. It's got to be in the CRA area. And since I do not know the boundaries of Avon Park versus the boundaries of the CRA, and there are cities throughout the state whose boundaries are the same as the city limits. They're coextensive. In fact, I represent one of those, and that is Eatonville, the town of Eatonville, a very small town in Orlando. So, or in the Orlando area. And so, if you are buying property, though, that is in your CRA area to use for a CRA purpose, then there are no limitations, including no limitations on tearing down existing structures, clearing the site, or if you choose, buying the property, tearing down existing things on it, and preparing the site for development, and then turning it over to a developer to do a project, let's say, of affordable housing, or maybe a park that you need, or any of a number of other kinds of projects that you could do as a CRA. Most often, when CRAs have property, either they acquire or that they already own, they go through the process 163.360, I think it is, and it's a process by which you advertise for what you'd like to see there. So perhaps you would like to see a grocery store, let's say, and you say, that's in our plan. And so if you are willing to come in and build us a grocery store because we have a food desert in this particular area of our CRA, meaning that there's no grocery stores or food stores close by, then we will give you the property at a much reduced rate at what is called under the statute fair value. Notice the word missing there, fair market value. Fair value means if it's accomplishing a goal that is in your redevelopment plan, then whatever you think is fair for the return of whatever it is you would get out of it, you can choose to pick that party to go out and build that thing in exchange for the property. And you put together a development agreement that says that. Some of your neighbors have done things of that nature in the past. And by neighbors, I mean places like Lake Wales and some other places, Sebring and some other places. And so that is a way to do it. And in terms of what other things you could do it for, put on there, it just depends on what's in your plan and what's needed. It could be an infrastructure project. Maybe the property would be the perfect place once it's acquired to put in a regional retention pond to provide areas for water runoff, and therefore make the property that is otherwise too expensive to develop developable, because all the water will then run into that pond that you now create, so that property will be easier to develop. An example of where that's been done is in one of my cities called Maitland. They have a, quote, regional retention pond that services their entire downtown CRA. So if you were to buy that very expensive property, you wouldn't have to worry about using a third of it for drainage and retention, because you could hook into the system that takes you to the regional retention pond and you can still use all of the property you purchased. So that's an example.
Thank you for helping clear up many years in 5 minutes. Thank you.
Okay.
Any other questions for Mr. Shepherd? Certainly, if we come up with some, we could send them into the city and they can forward them on.
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Shepherd, we'll very much appreciate your time. Don't be a
My
stranger.
pleasure. Hope it didn't confuse you too much, and I'm sorry about the microphone issue. I don't know why that happened.
No problem at all. Thank you, sir.
All right, take care.
All right. Item number 2, we have the Lakeside Historical Cemetery Restoration. This will be for the Southside CRA.
Yes, in the packet, I provided you the first installment of the, hopefully 2 to 3 installments for the Lakeside, the historic Lakeside Cemetery. The first, bill that came in was $19,998.00. It was the installation of flagpoles, the perimeter fencing, gate signage, storyboards too, and storyboard holders.
I'd like to thank Mr. Gordon for installing 1,800 feet of fence for $10,000. That was a heck of a deal. Any questions on this grant?
Miss Jeanette, do you know what they still have left to do?
I don't know. I don't have it with me exactly what's left to do, but I can definitely let you know.
Okay. Yeah, just out of curiosity, because I see they've done a pretty good amount. I was just curious what was still left. I know it's a mess out there, and I know they probably have a lot still to do, but I didn't know if they had a
I thought I saw
goal
a
list.
little list here. In the packets in there. Anyway, any other questions while we're looking this up? Okay. Well, perhaps you could provide us a list of what the future projects will be out there.
Yes, I will.
All right. If there's no further questions, do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the first milestone base payment of $19,998.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Let's call for questions. Seeing none, please call the roll.
Councilmember McGuire?
Yes.
Councilmember McCure?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Bernard?
Yes.
Mayor Anderson?
Yes. All right. Item number 3, we have the next CRA grant cycle. Ms. Jeanette?
Yes, currently I still have 7 that made the deadline for January 31st of 2026 that I still need to complete. So after I complete these 7, I would like for us to possibly shut down the grant cycle until July. That'll give me time to focus on pickleball, splash pad, and some other things.
Okay. Any discussion on this?
So what still needs to be done with those 7?
3 of them are businesses that I need to get the correct quote for what they are requesting to be done. And the other one is just getting another contractor to have 2 contractor quotes.
So part of meeting the deadline, didn't we require all of the paperwork to be in by that deadline, or
We did, yes.
do you feel like these are, I don't know what the projects are, but are they worthy projects that we do need to go ahead and push forward, or?
Well, the 3 businesses, yes, and then the 1 facade grant, yes. The other person, I'm really not sure because they also want to do the Florida rebuild, so they may not want to continue.
So there's
The
four
process.
additional
Yes.
grants?
Right, 4. The 3 businesses and 1 facade grant for the south side.
Okay.
Okay. Is anyone opposed to shutting down the application process until July while we work through the ones in the system?
I'm not opposed to that.
No, I think that's fair in my opinion. I mean, I would actually like to, in the meantime, kind of, which I think Jeanette is doing, but focus on those big projects and even some more citywide. I feel like we did give everyone an opportunity to turn in grants that they wanted to actually participate in. So maybe this is a time where we could focus on maybe the side streets off of Main Street or some of those things that we didn't end up getting because of not turning Main Street over to the Florida Department of Transportation. But maybe like additional lighting or, like the attorney was saying, the roads and things like that. Maybe we could, I know Splash Pad is still out there. Have we heard any update on that piggybacking off of that contract? Or
Yes, I spoke with them on yesterday, and they are waiting for one more pricing. They have everything except for one more pricing. So they said, hopefully by tomorrow, I will get the contract.
Awesome.
And I need to work more with Main Street, getting some of the things that they want, as well as the banners. I've sent the request for her to do a banner that included all of our sports, as well as darkening the color of the bandstand
Yeah.
from a pink.
Okay.
Those are a lot of things that I just need to focus on. So
Yeah.
that's why I asked for the
Yeah,
shutdown
I
until July.
agree with it 100%. I mean, if these grants take up a lot of your time, I know they do because there's a lot of paperwork involved. So I think it's a good pause so that we can get a lot of the city stuff done, make a big impact.
I have a quick point of inquiry. So in the past, when grants came before the advisory board, we would review them as a panel, like the 6 of us or 7 of us. And then it would become part of a board meeting on like a Monday before. It seems like we skipped a step, not trying to cause a problem, but I don't remember looking at the Hawkins, Taylor, or Marcus Trust at all before it was voted on. So are we going to be going to joint only in the future, or how has this changed, and why did it change, and what are we looking at in the future? Because if we have 7 more, I think it behooves the city to have the panel that you've had elected to, or not elected, but appointed to review that. So just not trying to throw a stick in the spoke, but what are we here for if we're just going to watch what you guys are deciding?
You're here to review, buddy.
Right. Well, yeah, love that. Love the answer. Doesn't fit. Like, how did the step get skipped?
Sure.
Because it got skipped, and I'm not trying to cause a problem with the 3 that you just approved or glossed over or whatever happened. But I know I'm not the only one that's asking the question. So if we could address that, that'd be great.
Sure.
I think initially Jessica, when she started the grant cycle, she only had it for the 3 months. When it ended in January 31st, then you guys were going to do it as a group in February and in March.
Okay.
And she had to set up for a scoring system. So I'm asking for it to just be changed. If you want to have a separate CRA meeting, I guess we could. If it
I'm not
helps you.
I'm not the only voice on the board, but it just felt kind of strange, to be honest. So if we have 7 more that are before us, what's the process?
We can
Is it-
actually have a meeting on April 7th, and then we can give it to the board at the last meeting of the month,
Okay.
if that will work
Yeah,
for you.
and I'd like to make it clear that if there is a joint meeting, it's not precluding you from doing the exact same process. So
I have no beans in the pot. I'm just trying to make sure that I just need some clarity. I don't think, if I'm the only one on the board, I apologize if I'm speaking for you guys, but I'm sure I'm not the only one that had the same question.
what I'm getting at is that if the board had not seen these 3 that got voted on here tonight,
Right.
there was nothing stopping you from giving any opinion or reviewing in any way you saw fit here tonight at that same time.
I would hate to hold up. I think they've been waiting a while anyway. I'd hate to hold up. I just think as a precedent.
Don't worry about holding it up. We want your
I think
opinion.
all kidding aside, I think as a precedent, it just felt kind of weird. Am I the only one? Am I the only one that felt that way? If I did, I could keep it to myself next time, but I don't think I am.
I know Jessica set it up, like Jeanette said, for this grant cycle. I didn't know that was going to be a continuation.
Right,
I kind of had the same question, but if we're only doing that cycle and then we're stopping, like I guess Jeanette wants to do, does that mean we won't have any? We would still have to have some kind of meetings to go forward with like pickleball stuff and splash pad stuff and.
Right, I guess those will go back to the regular end of the month meeting that you have, where you have the board and then you have the council meeting following.
So they would meet first, and then in the past for the joint meetings, didn't we take a roll call of everybody? That was the only difference. Last time, I don't think we did that. Last time, you guys would vote and then we would vote. Previously, right, when we would have a joint
Right.
meeting,
Yeah,
but then
that
the
was
last
a-
time we did not
Right,
do
and
that.
thank you for addressing that, but that was a skip. That was a step that was, just had me a little bit befuddled, to be honest.
Got it.
I mean, I kind of think it's good to have a two-step process so
Yeah.
that you guys can, if you catch something, then it can be corrected before the 2 weeks or before the time that we come here, and then we don't have to pause and then wait a whole nother month. I mean,
Right.
I would like for you guys to go through all of the applications and kind of point out any like lack, of evidence or documents or whatever the heck we needed to approve it or whatever. If you guys could catch it first before we see it, and then it would be ready to go by the time it gets to us. That's my opinion. I don't know what you guys think.
No, I agree. Ideally, the actual CRA board would not really have to ask too many questions at all because those questions would already be vetted, asked.
Right.
Packet made perfect before it gets to us. We already know that if it's been approved by you guys, that it is
Right.
good to go. Is the
Okay.
the premise anyway. But in the interim time, I'm not opposed to shutting down the application process until July. But something that the attorney did bring up is community policing. We have an option to potentially use some CRA funds for police uses if we need more security, if we want to have a higher level of service. So I think that needs to be explored to see if the advisory board has any appetite for that or if there's a need for it. The other thing is purchasing of buildings. I know it's been talked about a few times, but is that a direction that we actually want to go and try to actually budget and for what purpose? And then, of course, anything else that the attorney mentioned that's new, it certainly would be helpful for you guys to discuss it and at least see if we want to waste our time going that direction. You know what I mean?
Did we find out any more, Jason, about the parking lot, the additional parking lot, and whether that was an acceptable use or not?
Yeah, it's in our master plan, and so we're good. And also, I think you all are aware the building that Ms. Piper was talking about the other day that had a CRA parking lot behind that. So I mean, the CRA parking lots, we can do it. So we went out. We got a preliminary design, and there was a quote sent over today. I want to say it was like $23,000. I didn't get a chance to see it yet. I was doing a couple things, but we do have a quote to do the design and go forward. I did meet out there with Tommy, so we looked at where we wanted the dumpster placement and everything else. I think we're good going forward, and we should have from the zoning side of things. I think we're fine. We're not going to have to go through a big process for rezoning because it met a certain standard. So we're fine with that. Now, where we haven't moved, it's not that we're not, but the property by the Triangular, the Veterans Garden, and that we're reaching out. They're going to reaching out to the person, to the owner. There's a lien on the property now, right?
Yes, $17,000.
So there's a lien on the property, the one that we potentially could get, and then put a parking spaces in that area.
Mm-hmm.
So now the thing is does that meet redevelopment? I mean, I don't know if a parking lot by a park meets redevelopment. So I just have to make sure we can do that. I'm not quite sure.
We had an attorney on the line.
Doesn't mean I can't get him back on the line, but
Well, I think he said
on
that.
another day.
He said that.
He did say it.
He said that directly to you.
Yeah, he said it.
What's
You can purchase property, you can remove anything on that property, and you can expand a park. Unquote.
Oh, you can expand a park, but for a parking lot.
Park. It's part of the park. You can decide how big you want your park to be.
Yeah, it's across the street, but let's hope it goes through. We'll just make sure that it can, but we are going through the process now. We're not moving at the same rate of speed that we're doing with the other property, but we are moving forward with it.
Perfect.
Okay.
Anything else on suspending the grant application process? Yes, ma'am.
Oh, sorry. You have one in the audience.
Yeah. We'll have to get up to the microphone here. Just give your name and address for the record,
Hi.
please.
Is this working?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, Jeanette. I have a couple questions.
If you could kind of turn this way and speak directly into that microphone, that'd be perfect.
Sure. I have a couple questions because I've been working my name is Kimberly Oppold. I am the successor trustee of the Marcos, one of the applicants.
Okay.
Trust. This is Patricia Marcos. There's a building in the city. This building, my parents built in the 80s, and from hurricanes and different building issues, which we may have one for sale. Keep that in mind. I have been trying to manage costs of a building and her care. So last 5 years, we put on a roof, we put on parking lot for the potholes, roof falling, water issues, trying to maintain a nice building to keep revenues coming in, which I feel like we have one of the better properties on 27. But the sign, which is part of the facade, the image of the street keeps getting postponed because, again, we're managing those costs. So we are asking for your support on the signage, because even recently, me trying to manage expenses, income, tenants, her care, we had recently a homeless encampment behind the building, which is not a facade, but still needs to be addressed. So now we are using our funds to clean up a lot and to relocate some homeless. So please consider, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get her back here when you meet on our application, but please consider us because...
Hers was already approved.
Yeah, you're approved.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. The work is good. And
Yeah.
the money goes.
Yeah, we'll have to have you talk in the microphone if you want to make comments. So.
I just appreciate what you're doing out there, because behind the scenes, the money goes to good things, and it does really help situations. So you're doing great. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Miss Jeanette, when did you said it was going to be closed until July. What is the opening date in July?
I have to look at my calendar, but the first week of July.
Okay.
I'm sorry, the first week of July.
Okay.
Any other questions? All right. Seeing no further questions, do we have a motion to approve suspension until July?
So move.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Councilmember McGuire?
Yes.
Councilmember McCure?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Bernard?
Yes.
Mayor Anderson?
Yes.
And them? Okay.
All right. Item number 4. We
I
have.
think she's gonna call roll.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Member Jarrett?
Yes.
Member Sevigny?
Yes.
Member Shepherd? Oh, Member Downing?
Yes.
Member Hayes?
Yes.
If we're going to call both rolls, it'd probably be better to call their roll first.
Yes, sir.
Oh, no.
We don't want to give anything away. All right. Item number 4 is to be the CRA allowable color palette.
Yes, I went back to a meeting back in July, and it's just like we never really came to a conclusion of the colors. And I have one of our awardees here, Mr. Thomas Tatteras for Gearheads. And can we show the colors he wants to use? It's for the garage, yes.
Wow.
This is what he wants to use,
I like that.
and it's not on the on any color palette that I've given to him. So we wanted to see if you guys would approve this on Main Street.
If you would just give your name and address there for the record.
Thomas Tatteras, 200 West Main.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Tatters, are you going to have the lettering also on the front?
There will be a sign eventually being made, but that wasn't part of the grant.
Okay.
But that would be the color scheme.
Have you seen the color palette that they're talking about here?
From mine, what was given was about 10 colors on the sheet.
Yep.
That if you look at on the sheet and you go down to Sherman-Williams, colors look nothing alike.
Yeah. I'm figured this has already been printed out and copied a couple of times, so I'm sure these colors aren't very close to anything that they are in reality. But So it looks like you got a much brighter red and a much brighter blue. Is that kind of the only difference there? Okay. Is there any opinion on how closely we want to stick to these colors?
So one of the suggestion I had was that we have a palette that's basically pre-approved colors, and then when someone comes forward with something that's like a red, white, and blue, that we can have that as an option, and then they bring it forward, and then it could be approved. I mean, I wouldn't want to be the person to say I don't like red, white, and blue. So I think they come in, they bring it forward, and say, hey, that looks great. And I think you probably heard some oohs and ahs, and say, yeah, that fits within what we like, or. To make the process faster, we just have a pre-approved palette, and if they pick one of those colors, then they're fine. But other than that, I think this may work out well for us.
Okay. Anything from the advisory board?
I think it's great, Tom.
Looks great.
Okay.
So I thought the colors that we looked at last time, I thought there was like 100 and something on there.
Okay. So they just didn't come through in the packet, you're saying?
No, but I put them, I give them to Matt to pull up for us.
So could you put a paint station upstairs at City Hall so that everybody can see the colors we have? Yeah, I don't see anything in that picture that would cause any problems that I can possibly think of. So.
Especially not in a commercial space, I think.
Exactly. And if
Patriotic.
anything, I would say it probably lines up with many of the historical shops that have been on Main Street. So. I don't see a problem with it.
Do we need a motion? Because if so,
Yes.
I'll go ahead and make it to approve his colors.
Go ahead.
I'll make a motion to go ahead and approve the colors requested by Mr. Tatteras.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions?
None.
Seeing none, please call the roll, starting with the advisory board.
Member Jarrett?
Yes.
Member 70?
Yes.
Member Shepherd?
Yes.
Member Downing?
After a long wait, yes, Tom.
Chair Hayes?
Yes.
Councilmember McGuire?
Yes.
Councilmember Mercure?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Bernard?
Yes.
Mayor Anderson?
Yes.
So I just have one question. Are you going to go, I see your band around the top. Is that going to go all the way around the building or just stop on the sides?
Well, I'd go from that left, there's probably another 15 foot that wraps in there, and then it would go around to the back side there.
Okay.
But it wouldn't wrap all the way on the back side of the building.
Okay. Okay. Looks great.
Thank you,
Can't wait
guys.
to see it.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Sir.
Thank you.
So if there's a link to the actual colors, is that on the website?
We can put it on the website for you.
Yeah, we could just try to do that, or at least somewhere where they can find the complete list there.
Okay.
Any other discussion on any of these colors here? Seeing none. Is there any staff updates, board updates, or public participation?
I have an update and a question I want to ask. This is related to the pickleball courts.
Okay.
So, Nitty Construction, they did come back pretty fast, and they gave us, yeah, please bring it up. Bring up this one here first, if possible. So, there was a design that came forward, and this is a 12 by 22, and the total cost was $52,900, believe it or not, for that, because it also has footers and underneath is work that has to be done. So $52,900 for that. Now we budgeted $51,450, and he's willing to go in and install this. It'd be a slight overage. I think we still would be within it because it looks like we're going to be able to get the stormwater waiver. Now, we did reach out. We tried to get cheaper prices. The city did through Sourcewell pricing. So when we reached out to Polygon, they came back and said they didn't want to do anything because they already sent something to Nitty Construction as a vendor, and they didn't want to like cut their feet out basically. So they said the price is what the price is. Being that that's not a great look, we also I was looking at the website and I was looking at some additional companies that sell the products, including walking across the street to Donaldson Park, and I think Icon is the one that makes those shade structures. So I looked at their product line, and then we were requesting pricing, and we have some additional pricing. Let me see if you can go to another. Here, you can pull up the pictures instead, please. Oh, it's the other attachments. Does it have the pictures? You didn't get the pictures? Wow. All right. Okay. Well, that's a picture. So I'll find a way to get it in, but I'll just kind of. So there's another option for $70,000. That looks like that. All right. Looks like that for $70,000, and it's 2-tiered, and we can get it the colors that we selected, or for $92,000. We can get something like that, something along those lines. And I remember talking to Mr. Jared after our last meeting, and he was speaking about some additional funds that may be available. Is that true, sir? That may be available for this pickleball court project?
It's on record.
It's on record. So he told me there's additional funding, so if we had an overage, and it was a desire that we can basically strike through that line item and then just go out and get this installed if you all like this idea.
That covers the whole thing, Jason? That covers the
Yeah,
whole...
that'll cover the basically that whole middle spot. So it says on.
Is that just the enclosure, or does that have electricity to it for lights and stuff in the future?
We can bring up some electricity if need be. We can probably get
So
some
it's just for the enclosure?
It's for the enclosure, yes. And at the base also there's going to be footers involved, so may be close to it, but.
Do you have the dimensions of that?
This it said 12, this one was 12 by 20, this one. And it'll fit, it would fit in the middle. I think it would look pretty good. If you decide to go this route, we can just kind of formalize it and we can strike it off, but I'll try to see how fast I can get this installed or what the lead time is, because I don't want to hold up the whole project to find out exactly where we're going, but we kind of have one shot at making it look really nice, so I can try to pull a lead time.
Can you pass that around?
Sure.
So if it's 12 by 20, I thought we had like 40 foot that we would have to cover.
We were originally going to have two that were 12 by 20. Is that correct?
Right.
It's we're not doing a 12 by 40. We were going to increase it to 12 by 22 or somewhere around there, 14 by, there's 20 something feet.
So it wouldn't shade the entire thing though.
No, it's only going to be.
I mean, even the walkway between it's not
It's
long
only
enough.
only a portion of the walkway. It was going to be in between the gates. We talked about the gates of the two middle courts. It was going to be in between those two middle courts.
Would you mind passing around the other ones too?
Sure.
Seems like an awfully expensive structure for that little tiny thing.
Yeah, they surprisingly are. I mean, that's why we went out, and I wasn't in belief. So when we reached out and we received the prices back, we were shocked about it. But
How
go ahead.
how would you work having two contractors on the job? Who would be responsible for what?
we would just get the location where they would go, and we would have the contractor go in, and we would just they'd have to kind of work around each other. But I would get them just as our own contractor working for the city, and they would go in, or I can try to ask the vendor to, I don't know, if increase the pricing. If he doesn't have to do the other items, maybe he pays for it, but he might end up marking it up. Not quite sure. I just asked him, would he be willing to strike through the item if we were to pick a different design? He said he would. This is on the table. There's really not much of a difference. We can get it.
Can you itemize out, to Ms. McGuire's point, the structure that he quoted, the contractor here, was 12 foot wide by 44 feet long. What is the cost of that 12 foot by 40 foot long that he quoted a part of the job that came as a total package? And do we get a credit back on that, and what amount is that?
He came in and he gave shade sales when he first came in and quoted.
We met the last time reviewing sage sales.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was requested that we do one shade structure, and that's what was requested. So they did one right in the middle.
Right. At 40, they covered the
It only
majority of that.
it only covered the middle portion of the pickleball courts.
Absolutely.
Yes.
With sales.
No, that was going to be the hard structure. We were going to take it. If you were counting 1, 2, 3, 4, the original sales were going to be in between 1 and 2, and in between 3 and 4. We were going to do 2 there. Now we decided that we wanted a solid structure, so then that would go to 1 structure, and we were going to put it in between 2 and 3.
But how much was it for the 2? To cover the whole 40 feet? Like
it was
we
the
were...
$50,000. It was the $50,000.
51,450.
51,4.
Yeah, 51,450.
Yeah.
For the shade sales.
Yes.
To cover 40 feet. It was like 24 by 40, I think we ended up adding it up.
Whatever he proposed in that.
And there was a subsequent meeting that determined that we would rather have a more permanent structure?
It was here. There was a gentleman.
It was at that same meeting. Yeah. There was a gentleman that got it from the back.
Dana.
And he made a quote or just advice?
His advice was to have not a shade sales structure, but an actual hard structure.
Okay, thank you.
No maintenance.
That's the only meeting that has taken place.
Okay, thank you.
The only thing, we just got this very recently, and I just wanted to bring it in front of you because we're trying not to delay things.
Right.
I could find out what the lead times are, see what it takes to see if it's short, or you know what, let's go with 2 sales. In between, and I know there's 8 courts, but I'm just counting 1, 2, 3, 4. So we could either do the 2 in between courts 1 and 2, or we can do, the one solid one right in.
I would be more inclined, this is just my opinion, y'all can take it for whatever, but I would be more inclined to get 2 of the cheaper ones, the $52,000, and spend $104 and cover the whole 40 rather than spending $100,000 on a fancy one. That's my opinion, but.
And I would say, I feel like this. I think somehow, some way in the future, we're going to get that place covered. I feel like it. I feel really good about it. So if we do, then, it'd be much less of a, hey, we spent all that money on that nice shade structure when we covered it up entirely versus, hey, let's just get rid of them sales.
So we want to invite complaints continually. That way, we will get that shade structure sooner rather than later.
So, but he was ready to go with the other 2, the sales, and personally,
according to I pulled up the last packet. According to the one line item that Mr. Jarrett's referring to for the shade structure, it just says $26,700.
It's shade structure. The one I have here is $51,450. The total was $491,850.
For the sales, shade sales.
No shade. Yeah, shade structure 51,450, and it two, the total of the schedule of values was $491,850.
Okay, so that's a different one than that was in
Yeah.
our packet last time then.
I have a comment.
Yes, sir.
I'm not, without seeing the different changes, I think the most important thing is to cover the entire courts as much as possible, whether it's one way now or another way later. But I think you got to have shade to cover everybody out there playing, not just partial shade. And without being at the meeting, which I apologize, but circumstances I couldn't. But I think that, like Mr. McGuire said, I think I'd rather see the 40-foot weather. And I think even the sales, they said only had a limited lifespan. So just my thought.
Rick, you have anything to add, Mr. Contractor?
I like the solid structure rather than sales, of course, because it's no maintenance, no upkeep. You don't have to worry about a storm coming through and taking your sails down or anything like that. And the 12 by 22, I'd like to build these for a living. That would be a great business to be in. But I like the idea of the 40-foot, like you're describing, rather than just doing one little place, because everybody's going to have to get under this while they're waiting to play. They can't watch what's going on in the matches, and I think it would be a lot better to be covered. I want the whole thing covered, but we couldn't afford that. But I think full length in the warm up area, or staging area, so you can have some bleachers in there, whatever, seats, benches, or whatever, would be undercover rather than be sitting in the hot sun waiting to play pickleball. That's my opinion.
Matt, would you go back to the very first one? That's the $52,900 one. Okay.
Yes.
If you just extended that one.
Same look. Councilwoman.
I don't know. Personally, for the look, I kind of like number 2 with the 2-tier. And Mr. Hayes, tell me if I'm right or wrong on this, please. I just want to know. Would this one hold up better in a storm because of the top than that one would?
Yes.
Okay.
The footings would be a lot less. It doesn't. We don't have to hold buildings up in Florida. We have to hold them down because of the hurricanes. And that building right there has very little wind signature on it, because it has the relief at the top like that. Also, that is much cooler because the hot air has a way to get out, and you're not, encapsulating all that hot air there at a lower level. So that thing self-vents.
Personally, I like that one better.
I would be shocked if there wasn't a local fabricator that couldn't build that for half the money.
So who the sports company that we're contracting with, they're the ones that provided these?
No, we went out. They provided that first one, and when I looked at it, I had the same look that Councilwoman McCurr had when we looked. Just like, ugh, are you kidding me? 50? What? I was not a fan of it. I didn't think anyone here would be a fan of it, especially hearing the price of it. But we looked into it, and they were surprisingly that price. I thought for sure, like even that right there, I thought would be like $35,000-$40,000. I mean, the fact that it's 70, it's like it must be a lot of underground work or something. I don't. But we went out. We tried to find. I went to Sourcewell to find the contracts. And the thing is that we're trying to blend this in with the contractor in his schedule. I mean, personally, I want him to handle everything. I get the point. With the sales, yes, we want something that's a hard structure. I mean, I feel in the future we're going to be able to get it anyways, and I think we'll be able to get exactly what we want. And maybe the sales are just a little bit more temporary. but I think it would serve its purpose, and I think it would block the light, and may not even be there before the sale deteriorate. Meaning we go with it full overhead building if we find a way to get that done.
The contractor that gave you this bid on these, where are they from?
They were both. One was Icon, and the other one was the Polygon.
Are they from out of town?
They're,
Like
they're,
way
yeah,
out of
they're
town
out
or
of
out of the
town.
state?
They're out of state. They're out of state.
That's why they're so expensive.
Did you contact any local, like Randy Wright?
No, I went straight to who has Sourcewell contracts. Because I go, I'm kind of I say bidding apples to oranges, and then I try to get the quotes, and then figure out which one's better. And these are Sourcewell contracts, so they meet the competitive bidding requirements. And then hoping they're more commercial, so they may be ready faster. That would be the hope, but going to local people to see if they know I didn't do that.
Okay.
And end up just like our contractor that got the price, he did basically the same thing I did. And I didn't know it. That's
Okay. Personally, I think I would be in favor of the original two structures, shade sail structures, and then hope to build something better in the future.
okay.
But I am but one person.
Is that shared amongst the advisory board? What do y'all
Yes, sir.
think?
One person says yes, sir.
Yes, I think that's.
Is anybody opposed to it? We'll put it that way.
I think we all agree.
Okay, so I'll let them know. Hey, the sales are back on. Let's move, and then we'll do everything we can to try to get that whole thing covered up.
Do we need a motion for that?
We already approved it last
Why
time,
not?
I
Let's
think,
do it.
but-
Stick
Hold
with
on.
the sales.
I got a question because I wasn't here last week. The shade sails, how long are the lifespan on those? Did they say?
I think
It's from 2 weeks ago.
I've seen that they last, I guess, 5 to 7 years, depending. That's what I've seen.
Exactly.
And how much
5
are
to 7.
5 to 7? How much are the sales?
For the sale itself, I'm guessing probably around the $5,000, $4,000
Yeah, they're
range.
not much.
And then you can take them, and you could take them down. Like if you know a storm's coming, you can get up there and you can take them down. They don't get beat up that bad. It's just our sun is really hard on them.
Did we decide on a color?
Yes, if I recall, was it silver poles and a blue? What was the top?
Blue?
Or green? I'm trying to remember.
I think it was blue
We-
sails, because the courts are blue and green are the traditional colors. So we
Okay.
did the sails
Blue
for
sails,
that.
silver post, right?
I'm pretty sure that's what we said.
Okay. All right. So we can continue that route, and I imagine that would be faster and move the process along.
Okay.
I
Make a
think
motion to that effect.
that- I'll second.
We have a motion. We have a second. Please call the roll.
This way first.
Yes, please.
Member Jarrett?
Yes.
Member Seveny?
Yes.
Member Shepherd?
Yes.
Member Downey?
Yes.
Member Hayes?
Yes.
Councilmember McGuire?
Yes.
Councilmember McCure?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Bernard?
Yes.
Mayor Anderson?
Yes. Thank you. Anything else for staff or board updates?
Just want to ask the advisory board if we were going to meet April 9th, and we'll go over those 7 files that's remaining. You guys okay with that?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
I will.
And thank you, Jeanette.
You're very welcome.
And thank you all for the clarity. I hope you guys understand. We were just making sure.
Absolutely.
I can't, well, I don't know if I go to you or go to Jason, but I can't answer a question that's being asked of me about the signs on the north and south end of 27.
Okay. What's the
status.
question? Okay.
The status, are they going to be replaced, or is that just tabled for a while?
No, they're currently in production.
They're in
They will-
production,
Yes, they will be replaced.
scheduled to be replaced by
Yes, we
the
have a
end of,
contractor working it right now.
you know, a time frame.
I think it was 10 to 12 weeks, but we already approved the design. We had,
Yep.
they sent over the paperwork. They're going through, they're in the permitting process now. So they've been active,
All right,
and we're driving projects left and right.
should be complete before Labor Day. Thank you.
Yeah, it's gonna look good too. It's gonna look amazing.
Anything else for the good of the CRA? Yes, ma'am. Just name and address for the record.
Jane Benham, Avon Park Main Street, 32 East Main. So the Chamber, Main Street, and CRA have agreed to meet once a month. I think we've been meeting like for the last 2 or 3 months already. And we have brought up the discussion of the banners, but the issue is with the banners that Jessica had got renderings on, those were probably done by either like a business or a consultant. So we don't feel comfortable altering the designs of those. I feel like if that was something like the changes of the colors or the graphics, you would have to contact them because with artists and things like that, we don't want to get in trouble with any copyright or anything like that. But our design committee today did turn in, I think there was 5 designs of other options based off the data that we've collected. The community has voted more for like natural old Florida than the bright colors with the graphics and things like that. So that's just what the community wanted. So those were the renderings that we supplied just to give an option. But I don't want y'all to be waiting on Main Street to order banners because we just wanted to give a second option, basically. And then, yeah, that was it. So our design committee can help with anything that y'all need.
Okay. Anything else for the good of the CRA? Seeing none, I entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Seeing no opposition, we are adjourned.